start by a quick icebreaker. Whoever wants to talk a little bit about it, it's like, what is the market, recent real estate market that people have heard? We have heard people talking about how crazy it is. Anybody want to share some story, some offers they put in, didn't get accepted, or some successful cases? And the goal of today is I will share about my journey in the last 3 months, the house that we tried to buy, and then we bought it, and then what strategy we use and things like that. And then the goal is to open it up to everybody so we can all share, to have people all help each other to learn. But before that, it's just a quick icebreaker to see anybody want to share.
Yeah, the reason I said it was crazy was, so my friends, they ended up buying a house and bought the, I want to say during COVID, last June or something. And they paid like around, I think they put in an offer of 800 and they got it at that time. And I thought at the time that it was a lot of money for a house. And I think this February or something, they just did like an appraisal and the house value is already like around 1.1 million. So that's why I was like, yeah, this market is sort of just going really crazy right now. And then they have friends who ended up buying a house in Monroe, which is like, I think an hour away from Seattle, if I'm not wrong. And they forked out around 700 or 750 for a house in Monroe. And I was like, wow, like in Monroe, it's 700,000 or 750,000, which is just crazy. So yeah.
Sounds about right. Yeah. It's been a crazy year.
I've got a fun one.
Yay.
Yay. So I'll try to make a long story as short as possible for sake of time. We had a rental in Wenatchee that we had purchased on a retirement plan, with our retirement plan, and with a tenant that became derelict about 5 months into the last 18 months of the lease. And so, you know, with COVID and the moratoriums and things like that, we had a variety of challenges of trying to figure out what we could do to remove the tenant who took it upon himself to sublet the garage to another family, unbeknownst to us during this time. So we had code compliance issues, going to court for that, as well as trying to get him out. He was collecting rent, but he never paid us. So all that fun stuff, we finally got to the point of being able to find a lawyer and go through the process of eviction with the process of selling the house. Now, this tenant did about $26,000 of wholesale damage to the property, so lowering its value from where it was before. And we were left with, because it was in a retirement account, we can't do any work on it ourselves to try to bring that up. So we were in a predicament. We finally, after a lot of going around, the process started in October with our first notices for eviction. We finally were able to come to an agreement with him for him to leave by forgiving him all of his back $19,400 of rent that he owed us in April. So April 9th was when we finally were able to get him out. We actually went down to Home Depot and got a for sale sign. We put it in the window and went under contract on seller financing with the property in less than 24 hours. Wow. Sold it, ended up only paying $1,000 actually to sell the property. And that included all the closing costs, all of the money that we had put into it up to that time, and all the lawyer fees that we had to pay to do that. But we get $1,200 a month, and we will make about $215,000 of interest on that house over the next 30 years. So we took a real predicament situation in a crazy market, and were able to turn it around to actually be pretty decent lemonade.
It's an amazing story.
Yeah, I can go next. Yeah. So it's not recent. I closed the townhouse in San Diego near UCSD kind of back in January. It wasn't that competitive around that time. I was able to get it like relatively cheap and did some work, remodel it. The idea is kind of try to rent it out to students. So I started renting it in March with a management company kind of specializing in student housing. It was pretty challenging for March and April because they have vacancies that it's hard to fill. So now it seems like it's getting much better for the month of May, and then next month looking at it, looks like they're able to fill all the rooms. So it looks like the students are coming back and COVID situation is recovering. So that's really good news for me.
Nice. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, that's one thing about the rental market, what we've seen as well. Like, we don't manage too much condos, we just have a few. And then there's one in Capitol Hill last year, they become vacant because it's right by Cal Anderson Park, and it's just so violent. And then so actually the HOA manager got hurt by somebody using a machete or something like that. It's just so crazy, right? And then so we tried to rent it last year because of the lease break situation, but there's no way, nobody even asked for it. But so I told the owner, I said, let's just put it off the market until this year. So we listed in March and actually got rented out relatively quickly. It's like around a month or so, Josh, if that's right. It's like we got it rented out, and then it's pretty good. So we can definitely see the market, especially I say COVID before really helped us the nearby, not in the city, but right now it seems the city is coming back a little bit, like student housing or in the city, and then so that's good. So that's just something we have seen.
Yeah, it does seem like the neighborhoods in Seattle are beginning to feel a little bit more alive again. So